welcome to the third episode of Beautiful Moments with AKM and it's a Kingdom Tene. I'm so glad to have you here and I'm so glad to have you tune in. I hope you do not forget to share, to like, and to subscribe. Follow our pages at Rejoice Beauty Salon. I'm just so excited to come here on this platform. In case you're joining us for the first time, Beautiful Moments with AKM is basically a platform where we talk about you. Yes, being comfortable in your own skin, loving yourself, no matter the skin color, no matter the skin type, the hair type, just appreciating who you really are. And my belief is, Anesu, is that even if you are to go into beauty enhancement, talk about makeup, ear piercing, nose piercing, hair doing, braids, weaves, whatever it is, you are not there to transform yourself. You're not doing that to change who you are. You're simply there to maybe accessorize and work on your self-confidence. But at the end of the day, you should be able to walk out there as who you are, who you truly are. Should be comfortable with or without makeup, without a hairdo, with or without ear piercing, nose piercing. Because that person who is not clothed with makeup or whatever accessory is the real you, the authentic you, the one you sleep with, the one you wake up with. And so it is very important to love that person and to appreciate who God made that person to be. And so on today's episode, we're going to talk about nurturing a healthy mind, a healthy soul, nurturing a healthy body, and most importantly, nurturing a healthy spirit. And in my experience, I really like to share my experiences because I feel like when we are talking and I'm sharing something on a personal note, then it helps you more. It's more relatable than sometimes you can have facts on the table and it's really hard to implement them. But when it's something or someone's testimony, it's relatable. It's something that has already happened, which means it's a possibility, it's doable. And so I would like to start by saying every one of us, I mean, we've had so many experiences, some of which have taken away from our confidence, have taken away from our esteem, have taken away from our mental wellness. We have gone through experiences from a childhood, be it at home, at school, visiting relatives, with our peers. And those experiences have contributed so much to whom we've become today. And so what I would like to do on this episode is sort of talk about these three things in parts. And I feel like maybe first and foremost, it might be important to talk about the mind, because I feel like that is where everything emanates from. That's where it's like a manufacturing house for a human being. The mind is where everything is being, the thought processes starts, habits are being created, character, personality is being cooked from the mind. And so I feel like we need to talk about the mind first. That being said, there's so much content out there addressing the mind, especially in this day. Everywhere you look, it's mental wellness, this mental wellness, that. And sad to say, but for the longest time, especially in our continent, in Africa, mental wellness has been neglected. Being strong is mostly associated with, taking whatever crap a person has to go through, excuse my language. But yeah, if someone is said to be strong, it's not really about the prosperity they have. It's not really about the success they have. It's not really about their academics or being a church leader. In most cases, if someone is said to be strong, it has to do with challenges. It has to do with how much pain they can take in, how much abuse they have endured, how much difficulties they have gone through. And so our strength is measured against that. And as long as you seem to be fine, you're still talking and you're making sense, people feel that you are strong. And it took me a long time to realize that you can be broken and still be able to talk and make sense. You can be broken, you can be mentally challenged, in the sense, not like mentally disturbed to a point where you've lost your mind, but you can be in a very difficult space, in a very bad space mentally, and still be able to smile, to wear a mask, show up for work, show up for your family, show up for your husband, show up for your relatives, for your friends, participate, engage, and yet you're drowning. And it's I feel like it's strength when you have come to terms with the fact that, you know what, I'm not okay, I need help. That is strength, at least according to me. Because it takes a lot of courage to come out in the open and open up and tell people that, guys, I'm not as strong as you think, I actually need help. To me, that is strength. Because the more you put on a face, the more you put on a mask, and you just bulldoze through life, you just go with the flow, you just go with the notions, sometimes you might find yourself just exploding, breaking down in the middle of a meeting, in a very minor dispute. You can blow it out of proportion. Because all this while you've been taking, enduring, more like sweeping all the dirt under the carpet. At first, you might get away with it, but with time, you step on the carpet, you start to feel like you're stepping on stones. The dirt is accumulated so much that you can feel it. So mental wellness has been a neglected subject for the longest time, for both men and women, but I feel like for mostly women, because there's so much expectations from a very young age. You need to be able to do A, B, C, D, and if you are a strong woman, we see it by going through everything, be it in marriage, at work, it's just one thing or the other. You take up so much, you endure so much, but there has to come a time where you sit down, you have some sort of introspection, and you go through the things that you have endured and accept that this was a painful experience. I was hurt, and seek the necessary help. If it's counseling from a trusted friend, family member, church leader, maybe counselor, professional help, seek that. Because for as long as you're not okay mentally, it sort of leaks into every other aspect of your life. You cannot be the happy mom that you want to be. You cannot be the happy employee that you want to be. You cannot be the happy leader that you want to be. You cannot be as productive. When you are sad, you cannot be as productive. More so if you become depressed. So it is very important to seek help. You need to sit down, look at yourself, acknowledge the hate that you've gone through, and seek the necessary help. Some cases, you might even need to take medication for it. You might need to, and depending on your belief system, if you're a Christian, you might want to pray through it, to ask for healing. But also, what we take in every single day, the content that we consume with our eyes and social media, it's also largely contributing to our mental wellness. You see, there is so much competition, there's so much attention seeking, so much clout seeking. And if you're not careful, you can be racing against ghosts. Some of the things that you're seeing on social media, those things are not real. Not all of them, at least. Some of the things people are doing it for likes, for follows, for for publicity. No, it's not real. No one is ready to showcase their failures on social media. No one is ready to come and break apart. Should you come and break apart on social media, you can just go through the comment section. Everyone's just saying, hey, no, it's not, this is not the platform. You're not supposed to take your problems to the public. Go to God, go to this, do that. Try to work with your mess in private. But everyone is ready to clap for a new car, for graduation, for a new house, and so those, when you are in that healthy space where you feel you need acknowledgement, you need to be acknowledged, you need to be clapped hands for, you need to sort of, to have people giving you flowers, as the youth of today might want to express it. You run to social media to portray, oh, I've bought this, oh, I have this, oh, I've attended this. And so when you are going through that content, you feel like everyone is making it and you are behind, and it's just you who's failing, it's just you who's not getting it together. Oh no, you're not alone. All those people, they all have their struggles, that you need to accept your struggles and seek the help that you need. And then when you have recovered, you realize that when you are mentally well, you see things differently. Some of the things that you could have expressed as challenges, as problems, you start seeing them as opportunities, you see. And it's all because you are mentally there, you're mentally present. So it is important to consume content that's encouraging. If there are books, they have to be affirmative. If there are books, they have to be encouraging. If there are books, they have to be feeding in your esteem. They have to be feeding your confidence, not all these other things that we are seeing. And even as women, there's so much pressure, because the moment you give birth, a lot happens to your body. You change drastically. You might gain weight, stretch marks, pigmentation, you name it. And it's not easy creating a whole human being in your body for 9 months, sharing the same body with another creation. Imagine sharing, your heartbeat is pumping for 2, your brain, everything within the dynamics of a body change, and having gone through such an experience, you cannot remain the same. Some people snap back into their former bodies. Some, they just never do. Some, they have to work through it. Sometimes you develop this ginormous appetite and you just don't know how to go back to eating 2 slices for breakfast. And it can be stressful, it can be mentally challenging, because that's not who you used to be. Something has happened to you. But when you're mentally there, you realize that, no, I have actually given birth to life. I have done what most creation can't do. And you start embracing your scars. And I once read somewhere where it said, when you see a scar, don't be reminded of the wound, be reminded of the healing. And I think it's beautiful, because many a times you look at a scar, you start thinking about, oh, how painful it was, how much hurt you endured, what. But no, it's now a scar. It means you went through it. You survived. You are a survivor. You conquered. And the mind is a very funny part of a human being, because it can wander. You can be in this place, but in 10 different places at the same time. Your mind has that capacity to just be all over the place. And if you are not healthy mentally, you have a challenge of seeing everything going astray, seeing everything going down. Your mind is somewhat negatively set, and so your thought process tends to lean towards negativity. So you need to consume positive content. Even if they are movies, abstain from horror, abstain from too much blood and violence. Try to watch something that makes you laugh. Comedy. When you laugh, when you're happy, there are a lot of happy hormones in your body, oxytocin. And when you have these happy hormones, these feel-good hormones, even the things that you think about, they're positive. You tend to be more optimistic and less pessimistic. Yeah. And then secondly, I want to talk about our bodies. Yes, our bodies have a way. It's directly connected to your mental health, wellness. If your body is not in a good place, if you are sick, if you are losing control of your weight, if you are losing your weight, even, or if you're growing too thin, and everyone is constantly talking about it, it has an impact on your mental wellness. So your body, the state in which your body is, also contributes largely to your mental wellness. So these things are interlinked. And I would like to advise that even your skin is affected by, what you take into your body. Too much of anything is not good for you. Try to research the amount of data that you spend following influencers and all these dramas on social media. You could use that data to research on, you go to the clinic, find out your blood type, see the things that you're supposed to eat, things that you're supposed to abstain from, learn new recipes. Sometimes healthy food can be boring because of the way it's cooked, but if you learn ways of preparing healthy food in a delicious way, you are encouraged to actually eat well, to actually nourish your body with the things that it actually needs. So it's not just about the type of food, it's also about the quality of food, the presentation. If food is well cooked, well presented, you want to eat it. Invest in that. Enjoy the kitchen. Prepare food. There's so many ways to cook an egg, so many ways to cook rice, pasta. Try to eat healthy. And here in Africa, we are so privileged because we've got so many organic foods. Most of our foods, they're organic, straight from the farm, So research some of the things that you feel like, oh, this is so backward, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to eat this. We have what we call mubora, cucumber, pumpkin leaves. We eat that as vegetables here, but some, especially people in our generation, the Gen Z and the millennials, they have a way of sort of looking down upon these foods, when in actual fact they are good for our skins, they are good for our health system, our immune system. We've got things like sumbani teas, moringa teas. Even moringa, I read somewhere where it says moringa tea is actually good for period pain, still related to the body. So you need to research on these things. When you start eating healthy and it kicks in, I'm eating my food and I'm eating healthy, there's this level of confidence that you have. And someone was saying, when you start working out, should you go the working out routine? Don't eat so much and then work out. There has to be a balance. What you are eating and then the fat that you're burning, the calories that you're burning. You need to research on all those things. I'm not really a fan of working out. I can walk, but I'm not a gym person. So I tend to be more careful with the food that I eat and my daily routines. You have to take care of your body, because when your body is not in good condition, you really cannot work, you really cannot be present, you can't attend all these other 1,000 things that you want to attend. You can't be in your business and effective if you are not feeling well. So you need to take care of your body. It is your vehicle to every other destination, including to your success. So I was going to say, if you choose to go down the working out routine, somebody said to me, the first week you feel it, every muscle is aching. The second week you start seeing it. The third week they see it. The fourth week it's your lifestyle. So there's need for consistency. You just can't do something one day and you expect to get results. Even with your food, when it becomes a lifestyle, you start seeing the results. When you've done it over and over again, you start seeing results. I used to love sweet food. I would eat chocolates. You just buy me a bar and it's gone in a matter of minutes. And I had a challenge with my facial skin. I would have breakouts, I would have pimples. I would always be having one problem or the other. And then I tried so many products at once and it turned out to be so bad. Sometimes simple is better. When you go the simple way, you just have a simple routine. I know that as in the beauty industry, we want to introduce so many products, toners, primers, this and that, and this, night creams, day creams. Some skins are just not built for that. The moment you introduce all that load, you have a problem. So sometimes you just go the simple way. Your first towel should not be the towel that you use for the rest of the body. You see results. You have a face towel, you have a body towel, scrubs, whatnot. You use your simple soap, be it Protex, Lux, whatever it is you use to bath, take a bath, I use Vaseline. And a lot of people don't believe it, but I use Vaseline for my skin. For the whole of my body, I use Vaseline. Of course, I have the Vaseline oil, but it works pretty good for me. I just bath with a body scrub, the whole of my body, the same body scrub, and then I apply my Vaseline. Sometimes I use lotion together with the Vaseline, depending on the weather. Of course, if it's very, very cold, I just use Vaseline alone. And it's actually a very good skin moisturizer. So don't be fooled into thinking, oh, good skin, for me to have good skin, I must eat very expensive food. Or for me to have good skin, I must have very expensive facial products or bathing products. No, sometimes it's just in the simple things and consistency. Yeah. And then lastly, I want to talk about your spiritual well-being. You see, all these habits that we are talking about, when you are balanced, when you are in a good space mentally, when you are in a good space physically, and when you're in a good space spiritually, it's not difficult to live a well-balanced life. It's very easy to achieve a well-balanced life. But when one of the three is not in a good space, you can see that, you can feel it, because it's like there is a connecting tube where content flows, or stress or joy flows from one area and it contaminates the rest of the other areas. If you're not well spiritually, sometimes if you're a believer, it can be very hard even to pray. It can be hard to pray. If you're not well mentally, it's hard to study the Bible and and encourage yourself. It can be very hard. So, but when you have a healthy routines, healthy habits, you know how to come back to that space. If I'm not okay, I need to talk to this person. If I'm not okay, I need to pray. If I'm not okay, I need to study the word of God. For me, sometimes when I'm going through things and my mind is not really there, I watch comedy, Korean comedies. I look for a 6-episode series. I choose a day in the week. I'm just gonna sit. I'm not gonna pressure myself into being productive. I'm not gonna pressure myself into being present everywhere. At the end of the day, if I'm not okay, if I'm not the best version of me, then it will be hard for me to give anything that is best out there. So I need to be the best version of me in order to give the best. You understand? So I take time. I unplug. If need be, sometimes I switch off my phone. I'm unavailable. I'll write on my status, not taking calls, text only. You see, I'm unavailable. I lock myself in my bedroom. I put some popcorn in my bowel. I put on a very funny, if it's Kevin Hart, I sit. If it's Trevor Noah, I'm laughing. I'm getting myself back to a place where I feel comfortable, to my comfort zone. And in there, I rewind. I look at, okay, when did I start feeling this way? What is feeding these emotions? What is feeding this thought process? What is feeding this spiritual status? And then I make a decision to deal on that thing, because when you look at it from your problem's perspective, everything tends to be wrong. But when you look at it from an independent perspective, you allow yourself to appreciate that you are not your problem. Your problem is there and you are you. So you approach your problem as an individual, as an independent individual. Look at where it started. Did I contribute to this problem? Is it something that I can control? If it's something that you can control, then start working on what you can do. If it's something that is beyond your control, then focus on the things that are within your control. You understand? So spiritually, I'm not going to talk about any other religion. I'll talk about my religion because I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jesus follower. You need to feed on the word of God. Feed on the word of God. when you feed on the word of God, you have a way of seeing that what you're going through, you're not the first. There is no situation under the sun that is new. Somebody has gone through it. And if you are privileged enough to find that somebody in the word of God and see how they prevailed, there is a way that you begin to feel encouraged. And should it be difficult, like I said, sometimes when you're really down, it's hard to encourage yourself, even in the Lord, even in the word of God. But you need to have a healthy community. I have sisters. Some of my favorite sisters joined me on the very first episode when I launched this thing. And those guys, they're always there for me, even when they are going through their own stuff. But I know when I go and sit, they have a way of resetting my perspective. When you're using Google Maps and you lose your direction, sometimes it looks like your car is facing where you are coming from, but there's a button that says recenter. And when you press that button, it tends to show you the direction. Your car faces the direction which you are going. You see? So sometimes after so many left, rights, you tend to lose perspective. But you need to find a habit that if I'm not okay mentally, this is what I do. If I'm not okay spiritually, this is what I do. Is it prayer? Is it a spiritual leader that I need to talk to? Is it a spiritual community that I need to engage with? And once you do that, you are recentering. Once you recenter, you find yourself moving in the direction that, oh, I'm not very lost. I'm actually in the right direction. Oh, I'm not too far gone. There is hope in this situation. Actually, I can get back to my relationship with God. The truth of the matter is that God has never left me. It's just me who got too busy. It's just me who sort of, was preoccupied with several other things and left my way. So you recenter. When you have managed to find healthy habits that lead you back to mental wellness, that lead you back to physical wellness, that lead you back to spiritual wellness, if you are well in those 3 areas of your life, you begin to live a well-balanced lifestyle. And I get it. It's not as easy as I'm saying. It's a struggle. It's something you have to fight for. In some cases, you have to forget that you're a CEO and you have to go and sit under someone and let them help you. In some cases, you have to forget that you're a founder of such a big organization, a big ministry, a big company, whatever. You have to let it all go in some instances. And then you calm down to the simple you who has to accept the hurt, the challenges, the difficulties that they are going through, seek help, accept help, and use the help in order to get back to your best you. And those moments of healing are beautiful. They are so beautiful because you realize just how fragile you are as a human being. And it's beautiful because sometimes you are just too strong to a point of breaking. Even metal breaks, rubber breaks, any material, wood breaks, steel breaks. There is so much that you can take. And if you take so much more than you can, you will break regardless of how strong you are. So acknowledging that things are challenging, acknowledging that things are difficult, acknowledging that you're facing a problem, separating yourself from whatever you're going through, giving yourself enough room to see things with clarity. It helps. I love water. I'll just go and sit in the shower. It's a moment of solitude. And I allow myself to sit in there and go through it. Oh, sometimes I judge myself harshly. And sometimes it's in talking to others that I realize that, oh, I was just being so hard on myself. Things are not as bad as they seem. And when I start seeing and feeling hope, these happy hormones, they have a way of just flooding, coming in. and you start feeling good again. You work through it all, and as you work through it all, you realize that nothing that you are going through is new. You realize that nothing you have been through is a special case only to you. There are thousands of people that have gone through it. Some have lost their mind, and you are still there, still making sense, still intact. You need to thank God for it. You need to appreciate that privilege and work towards fixing whatever problem you might have encountered, challenge, personality challenge, character challenge. As an independent individual, you are not your problem. You are not what you have been through. It has contributed to whom you've become, but it is not you. I hope you've been helped. Let me know in the comment section if this has been a helpful episode. Feel free to share your comments. You can inbox me. I can share them on my page. If you don't want your identity to be known, it's fine. I'll hide your ID. But I would really love to know how you have come out of, certain situations, certain circumstances that were dragging you down spiritually, mentally, or physically. But I also want you to know that whatever you're going through, you are not alone. You can beat it. You can overcome it. So until next time, on the next episode, where I'm going to be joined by my beautiful sisters, stay tuned. Don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe. Bye.